Okay, so we're recording, and we are now on the outskirts of Sevenoaks at St Edith's Well, and as you see, we're walking along the North Downs to Badgells Wood Camping, so that we'll be about halfway to Rochester, where I hope tomorrow we can end at the cathedral. And I've forgotten what these three towns are called. They're called the Medway towns, aren't they? Yeah, Rochester, Chatham, Gillingham. Anyway, and then we'll not actually be that far from Canterbury if we walk at this sort of pace, probably 3 or 4 days. So we're on target. Thank you for keeping me going. Here we are. Right, let's zoom in and pop onto the road. Have you got any stories up your sleeve? Like, what would be a story you could tell if you had to entertain a traveller, which indeed you let's say you do?
I've just written one actually last night, but whether it's relevant.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Whether
it's relevant, it's about a voyage to Orkney.
Ah, okay. Is it one that you would like to read or paraphrase, or?
I don't mind reading it. It's 2 sides, 2 sheets of A4. That's
great. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
I'm all ears, and I'm just going to do the walking bit with my clicking on my mouse.
It's fairly new. I haven't really gone through it that carefully yet. But it's about a story. It's a story about a trip to Orkney in November. So I'll just read it as it is, shall I? Just
right.
Yeah. See what it sounds like. It's November. I'm in the Ferry Inn in Scrabster. There are 6 grumpy fishermen and the pub's grumpy dog. I've travelled from Inverness by train for 4.5 hours through a magnificent landscape of Perth's hills and snow. Now I'm in this warm pub waiting for my ferry to Stromness. I have 3 hours to wait. The fishermen are suspicious. Eventually one of them gives me eye contact. I'm waiting for the Stromness ferry, I say. The atmosphere in the pub instantly changes, except for the dog, which remains grumpy. The time comes for me to leave and walk the 800 yards to the ferry terminal. I open the pub door and it's a blizzard outside. I ring the taxi people who brought me here from Thurso Station. They come and pick me up and take me to the ferry terminal. They drop me off. I'm the only person there. It's not yet open. It's cold, bitterly cold. I am probably the most northerly person on the mainland of the UK. I'm utterly alone. I run up and down the outside waiting area, trying to keep warm. It doesn't work. After 30 minutes, I see headlights approaching along the harbour side. A taxi drops off a young man, leaving a second set of tyre tracks in the snow. He huddles down against the terminal door. We wait, us two, who know not each other, saying nothing. At last, another set of headlights come along the harbour side. It's the Northlink ferry staff, both of them. They let us into the less cold terminal and check us in. Is this going to be too long, or?
I don't know. I'm happy listening. Keep going. Okay. I'm sure it won't be too long.
I'll carry on.
Yeah, please do. I'm enjoying it.
Be useful. On board the MV Hamnavo, whose name is the Viking name for Stromness and means safe harbour, I find a seat in a corner and wedge myself in. Nearby is somebody covered by coats laid on the seating. In the middle of the lounge, a couple who have been to the restaurant and bought a 4-pack of McEwan's. There was no one else in the lounge. I listen to the chains clanking as the crew chain the vehicles down on the car deck. Soon the captain comes on the PA and says that the MV Hamnavo is now secured for sea and will shortly be sailing. He adds that sea conditions in the Pentland Firth are rough, so we are advised to find somewhere comfortable and stay there. We'll also be sailing via the Sound of Hoxha, so our arrival into Stromness will be delayed by up to 1 hour. This is when it gets exciting. I feel the vibrations from the engine suddenly increase with sailing. We sail past the end of the breakwater. I can feel myself
Can you
going
still
up.
see me?
Sorry?
Oh, you're frozen. Oh dear. Hope that doesn't mean that my signal is playing up.
I'm on back.
It probably doesn't say much. Ah, hear me now?
Back, yes.
I suspect that that was my my computer. It seems to be still recording.
Yes, that's, I've got, still have a recording light on you when you left.
Great. Okay, so back we go. And you were just saying that it's about to get exciting, and then everything got lost.
Then we all got frozen up. Yeah. Right, I'll start that again. I feel the vibrations from the engines suddenly increase. We're sailing. We sail past the end of the breakwater. I can feel myself going up. Yes, I'm still going up. I'm still going up. Oh, no, I'm falling through space. I'm still falling through space. Boom, the whole ship shudders. We roll to starboard at 35 degrees. I'm looking downhill at the other side of the lounge. I can still see the lights of Scrabs from Stromness out of the window, but they're leaping about like demented fireflies. I'm in a crazy world gone mad that goes on for 45 minutes. The captain's on the PA again. We're going to turn to port. The ship may roll a bit more. We make our turn and the pitching and pounding stops. Hamnavoe puts all our efforts into rolling. It's brutal. Give me a pitching ship anytime. Somewhere out there in the darkness, the island of Swoona, with its herd of wild cattle, all descended from the small herd left behind when the last crofter left over 50 years ago. Suddenly, after 20 minutes, the rolling stops. We have come into the shelter of the entrance to the Sound of Hoxha. We head into Scapa Flow by what the Royal Navy called the tradesman's entrance. Scapa Flow is a place haunted by history. The half-dozen lights of Lyonesse on the island of Hoy are off to port. Lyonesse is where the main naval base is situated and where the naval cemetery is located. A cemetery where the ages on the first 5 gravestones just past the gate add up to less than 100. We sail between the islands of Hoy, Flotta, Farah and Carver, where the German battleships and cruisers of the High Seas Fleet still lay on the seabed. A few of their crew members are here as well, at rest in Lyonesse Cemetery. We're sailing along the Bring Deeps towards the Clearstone Sound. The snow's stopped and the sky is clear. I go out on deck, it's bitterly cold, but I can see the lights of Stromness now about 7 miles away. Above me, the sky looks like someone has thrown shovelfuls of diamonds all over it. Brilliant lights stabbing out of the darkness. There are so many stars in some places that they look like a glowing cloud. The shore is in total darkness either side of us. I can't see it, but know it's there. Just the sky with its stars ends in a velvet blackness, the shape of an island. There are a dozen people on deck now. A lad of about 15 drags his mother to the rail, saying, "Look, Mum, look, it's the lights of Stromness." We pass Hoy Sound highlight with its 110-foot tower, flashing white or red every 8 seconds. The leading lights halfway up Brinky's Brae come into view. When we can see them one above the other, the hand of oar will turn to port and enter the channel into Stromness. The bond that has been between us since sailing from Scrabster, the bond that let us trust people who we have never seen with our lives with utter and total confidence, the bond that somehow connects all the people on the ship, the unseen bond of the sea will evaporate. The ship is secured to her berth, we collect our luggage and walk off in different directions, back into our own lives, into the narrow lanes and wings of old Stromness. There's a group of teenagers at the bus stop waiting for the last bus to Lerwick. Kirkwall, not Lerwick. Was it rough, one of them asked. I sailed in worse, I reply. I think again of the naval cemetery of Van Hoy. And I think of that first gravestone near the gate and the age of the sailor. He was 16. Weep if you want to. I do. That's it.
Oh, that's great. I really like that. It was very evocative, and it was very, it was nicely balanced between, I did laugh out loud and laughed not out loud at other points, but also quite haunting and actually gripping, and without being disappointing, because it could be that I was expecting the boat to capsize and, this is going to be some disaster that you remember and that you lived through. It wasn't, but you nicely bring in the fact that other people in the same position have done. I really like the tradesman's entrance, or is it right? Tradesman's entrance.
Tradesman, yeah, that's where the destroyers and small ships used to go in. The capital ships went another route.
So, I guess because we're here doing this, and this is our version of the Canterbury Tales, and you've just told that story, and I'm responding to it, and that's what happens in Chaucer.
Yeah.
What do we put as a frame around the story? Like, what's the motive for why you wrote it, and why is that the one that you decided to tell today?
No, I mean, I just thought I'd try and write it because there's certain things been going through my head, like on a ship on a rough sea, how do you describe it? And the other thing, of course, is the sadness of the war.
Yeah.
It's terrible pathos. Yeah. And of course, how young some of them were.
But why choose that now? I mean, you could have written something else, or you could have written that last year. So what makes that be the story that you're doing now?
I think it's come because I'm planning another trip to Orkney.
Right.
Taking a party there now. It was going to be May, but now it's going to be September.
Okay.
And we'll be going there. We're going to those places.
Is it always either spring or autumn?
No. I've been all sorts of years, but I've been a few times in November. I mean, I don't think there's any disadvantage.
Because you're postponing it for quite a few months.
Yeah, it's wait until we can actually go on.
Right. So it's
been,
really a lockdown thing.
Yeah, it's been moved twice already.
Yeah.
But of course, either end of the year, it's easy to get. There's less people about.
Yeah. It's interesting. I'm just trying to hold all of these things in my head while also continuing to click and notice the landscape. And it's a bit drab and grey here, but it was sunny earlier. Maybe you might not have seen because I know you're reading. So, but it's interesting because you're planning a route, you're planning a journey, and you tell a story about a journey. So I was trying to think, did I do something similar before oh look, the sun's just come out, and
No.
we jumped back 3 years. It was 2019 a second ago. So I'm trying to think, do I like to tell, or do I just, I think before I organize this thing in my mind, to make it a reality, because it's really not real. It's just us sitting at our computers and pretending.
Yeah.
But so I felt like, what's the point? It's a bit silly. So I had to try to make it be real in my head. And I think I did that by reinforcing my love of Chaucer and other places where I've enjoyed this kind of group storytelling thing. But I didn't write a story as you have done. I wonder what the difference is. Did you see, by the way, we passed one of those beautiful Kentish oast houses just when it froze.
There's all these houses with boards on as well, whatever they call them.
Yeah. I don't know if they're medieval or just some sort of wooden paneling. Yeah. So when did you write the whole thing yesterday?
I started it yesterday, the latest the evening. I just finished it this morning and I go.
Ah, great. What do you write on? I mean, like typing or?
Yeah, I do it on the computer. I do write notes in books, you know, I have an idea and I think if you don't write it down, you forget it.
Yeah.
Think of a phrase and think that's good. And I write it down in here. Got a book here full of.
Right. Yeah.
Scrap stuff, but it's just so you don't. Because you can have a brilliant idea in the middle of the night, and when you wake up in the morning, you can't remember it.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you there.
I've still got my, that's the everyday book.
Great.
Anything, other people's stuff goes in there.
Great. Now we're about to cross the M20, different motorway. Hello, other motorway. Oh, that road needs a bit of repair in 2019, doesn't it?
Cracked, isn't it?
Yeah. A bit of a weed might be helpful too. It's funny to be reminded of the Google vehicle.
Yeah.
We are actually just following them. Okay. I wonder how a place gets named Gravesend. Talking about cemeteries and things.
Man, you're graving on a ship, as far as the ship's concerned, graving was when they used to put her in dock and clean the bottoms of them. Graving dock.
Ah, I see. Oh, that must be what it is, I guess.
It could be a link, yeah. Because they still do call them graving docks sometimes.
Yeah.
Whether there's any link in that word to the grave, like you pop your ship in the dock, yeah.
I guess that you are docked, aren't you?
Yeah.
When you put in there. Okay, how far have we got? Let's have a look. We are now probably about halfway. Yeah, about halfway. And timing wise, we're doing right. We are walking extremely fast. If we were walking, we'd be absolutely, this is faster than a bike. Yeah, I wonder if I'd love to reciprocate. I just wonder if I could do that. I know one thing that we haven't done is making up stories in real time. And it's one of the things that I learned to do in theatrical improv. Did I tell you about that when we did the speaking course?
I think you did. We did this thing in the Union Club and Yorkshire Ales where we played that game, Would I Lie to You?
Yes, okay.
Yeah, so you get a sort of stellar, and you don't know what you're going to get, and you get something and tell us about the cat you had. Well, you haven't got a cat, you've never had a cat. and you have to
Right.
make things up on the spot and make it sound convincing. That's quite interesting exercise.
Yeah. The other thing is to try and tell a story based on, I don't think you know this area that we're going through, do you? I don't.
No, the only time I've been through that sort of area is on Eurostar or a
So
train to Dover.
do you fancy the challenge of doing what Erica did yesterday, pretending that you're a local and telling me about things?
Yeah, you'd never go at that.
Okay, so we're on Gravesend Road now, and we're, I suppose, approaching Trosley Country Park, and we've got the Downs over here, and I'm in your hands now. You're the tour guide.
Right. Now the problem with this is I can't really see the map, so
If I do that,
that's better. That's better, yeah.
so now you can see the map, and you can see, yeah.
Yeah, and I can see the main road. Well, it's obviously very wooded around here. There's a nice field there, pasture.
Yes.
Some mature trees look like oaks.
What do they use the pasture land for in these parts, oh tour guide?
I would have thought it was some sort of livestock. There's no sign of any though.
Ah. And I think it used to be all orchard. Oh, look, there's some.
Ah, there's some cows or something, or beasts, as they would call them in Yorkshire.
Right. What do you call them in Kent?
I don't know what you call them in Kent. No,
Oh, you have to pretend to be the expert.
you could make it up. And,
Yeah, you make up everything. You're the guide.
yeah, the local name for those in Kent is Wazzock.
That's very satisfying.
You have to learn the difference between men of Kent and Kentish men as well, haven't you?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I like that a lot. And I believe there's something very famous about this hill. Is that right?
Yes, yes. When Blériot flew the channel, he just missed that.
Oh, did he?
Got lost.
Oh, great.
Yes.
Did the locals panic, or were they laughing at him?
No, I panicked. I mean, flying bird in the sky.
Right.
Thought it was the end of the world.
Great. I like this game. This is really good. So now the landscape is definitely acquiring a kind of real narrative quality that it could.
Yes, it started to remind me of witches, which obviously there were a lot of those in Kent years ago.
Yes.
They didn't manage to burn them all. They got quite a few.
What happened to the ones who got away? What did they manage to do instead?
Well, they believe that they all turned into cats and run off, but I'm not sure about that.
Slippery customers. Yeah, notorious for its witches is Kent.
Notorious for its witches and evil spells.
Yeah.
Which are still there. I mean, they cursed a lot of trees and those spells still exist. So we need to be careful.
Yeah. Yeah. And am I right in thinking that Thomas à Becket walked down this road once or twice?
Yes, I believe so, yes.
What more can you tell me about his trip?
Well, it was muddy in those days, so he was up to his ankle, up to his knees in mud.
Right. Poor St. Thomas.
So he gave it a name, which can't be repeated.
Oh, really? Is it recorded in the chronicles of the Middle Ages?
Yes, it's down somewhere in the.
Right.
I think they had to write it in Latin so the poor people wouldn't understand it.
Right. Yeah. And that's why all the Latin-speaking priests always used to giggle when they walked past this way.
Yes.
And the poor people had no idea what was going on. Oh, great.
Well,
yeah.
that was the trick. If you keep the poor people under control and you cracked it.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Here we are, catching up with a
Oh, yeah,
woman and
there's
her
somebody
dog.
there. There's somebody there.
What kind of dog is this one?
It's a collie, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Like a sheepdog.
Yeah. Oops. Let's go back this way.
There's a lot of those about,
Yeah. Especially in Kent.
especially
They're
in Kent.
useful for catching the wazzocks.
Yes, you need them if you're if you're in charge of wazzocks.
Yeah.
Oh, it was DPD. He's just been to me this morning. Now he's down there. Yes. Is that a rugby ground there?
The camping ground?
Yeah, it looks like a rugby post.
Oh, let's have a look. Oh, maybe.
Here somewhere.
Yes, well spotted.
Yes, it's a
Vigo Rugby Football Club.
Oh, it is a foot.
Huh. Okay, so we've just come through Vigo, but nice to see the rugby ground on this unspeakably named road.
It's never recovered from
Beckett's.
Beckett walking along it.
No, it's cursed. Cursed first by him and then by all the witches.
Yes. Not a safe place to be. They see there's plenty of meadowsweet and stuff to brew up.
Right. Yeah, you could use the
Get it in the
hawthorn
cauldron.
flowers.
Yeah. Bubble it up and they're away.
Yeah. So now we're relatively. Oh look, that was good. We changed seasons. Suddenly on to February. Let's go back.
Yeah.
From May 2019 to February 2009. 10 years back. Bluer sky, but winter.
Yeah.
Is that one of the glitches put there by the witches?
Probably.
Yeah. Google may be complicit in witchcraft.
Joining the pictures together.
Yeah. It's like one. Have you read the Philip Pullman books where there's kind of windows to different universes?
No.
They're just sort of, it's got this extraordinarily powerful, believable way of describing how if you get the right knife, you can cut through reality and step through a little window into a very similar universe. I
was watching something on Netflix and it was about creating a hole into a parallel universe. And they let this hideous creature loose. Came out, escaped.
Right.
And it used to, if it got to a gate it couldn't get to, it would turn into jelly and slide underneath and then come back.
I see.
Yes.
That's handy.
Yes.
So we've definitely, we're quite well stuck into the 2009 February. It looks good. It's been a bit wet recently. There's quite a lot of rain on there.
You can see more in winter because there's no leaves.
Yes, of course, that's true. Yeah, it would be one of those glady roads that we've been going down otherwise.
People pay a lot of money to travel on that West Highland line. And to be honest, in summer, all you can see is trees.
Oh, no.
Most of it, yeah.
Is it firs as well? So you wouldn't even see anything in
it's a mixture. Winter. Sometimes firs, sometimes silver birch.
Right.
Silver birch, of course, is the national tree of Norway.
You say, of course, but you're ahead of me on that.
You may, you'd probably think it was the fir, but it's not.
Yeah, I probably would have said that. So I think this is Badgells Wood Camping. Let's see if there are any photographs.
There's nothing. It doesn't look very exciting up to now.
No, it doesn't, does it? It doesn't look very inviting either. I guess roughly somewhere in there, but it's not going to let us go in there.
There's no signs or anything, is there?
No. It's not quite the campsite I'd hoped for.
It's probably one of those places where people go and they're never seen again.
Yeah. Well, it's been nice, David. Yes. So we've reached our sort of holding destination.
Hmm.
And tomorrow,
There's a house there or something.
oh, is there?
Something there. I don't know. It could be silver birch I'm looking at.
Over this direction?
Yeah, that's silver birch, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Or is that somebody in the woods?
Ooh. Where are you looking?
Just above the gate, further back.
This
There,
one?
look. Yeah.
I think that's probably a tree stump.
Now further.
Oh, this one.
Yeah, in there. Yeah.
Oh, could be, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. It's certainly one of those things that you start seeing as night falls and you're in a woodland campsite, isn't it? Whether it's a person or not, really, it's certainly
Yeah.
it's the kind of thing you might worry was.
It's amazing how many people are frightened of the dark.
Yeah. I really liked what Erica said yesterday about walking at night. I remember doing that when I was in the Scouts with my friend Tom, and we were both 12, and we had to walk all night across, I guess they were more downs by Watership Down, and just all night in the dark. And the batteries on our torches ran out, so we were just really in the dark. 12 years old, you wouldn't probably be allowed to do that now. But
When
it
I
was
used to work, well, for 14 years when I was working on the fisheries job, we used to go out at night.
in the boat.
Yeah, but no, mainly it's up the river, up the valley.
Yeah.
To walk about in the dark. And what you learn is there's no such thing as a dark night.
Right.
There's always some light.
There's always
Very
something.
rare that, yeah.
I suppose my most exciting nighttime thing was scuba diving at night, and then we turned our torches off. So you're in the water and you can't really tell which way up you are until you feel the bubbles going down your leg. So you must be upside down. That was fun.
We used to frighten people when they were first with us, because if you're walking about in the dark in here, so all you've got to do is to stand outside and keep perfectly still. And they don't see you.
Yeah.
They can walk straight within 6 inches of you and won't see you. So you wait till they get just alongside and you go, well.
Yeah. Yeah, we did. Do you know in Paris they have the catacombs where they dug up all their graveyards and put them all in this place, underground tunnels. It's very weird. You walk through all these bones. We seem to be talking about graves and cemeteries a lot today. And so in the catacombs, my friend Steve and I just waited in this quiet bit, and then when someone came round the corner, we just made a noise and they absolutely leapt. That was good fun, very naughty. Oh, thank you, David. I'm really grateful for your company on this.
Right, that's no problem. It's I quite like it actually. It's not a time of day when I'd be doing anything much. So.
Yeah, I hope it is inspiring for you to do something similar. And I might do more another time. I think it's probably a holding thing for me while I can't do the real pilgrimage, but I'm really enjoying it. I might do, I could go to Santiago de Compostela without leaving England or something else.
Just to brush up on the facts and the history of the place, and you can do a tour.
Yeah, definitely. Have a good afternoon, and see you tomorrow to walk to Rochester.
Rochester, yes, that'll be good.
Great.
Yeah, brilliant.
Keep well.
See you later.
Bye, David.